Hello, everyone, and welcome to Real Estate Right Now. We talk about real estate matters that matter to you. We are live here from Linda Craft Team Studios in Raleigh, North Carolina, part of the Greater Research Triangle Park. My name is Jay Izzo. Today's show, a good one. I gotta tell you, well, they're all good, but this one is especially good because we've never really done this topic before. We've talked about first-time home buyers,
right?
A lot.
Mm-hmm.
And there's a lot to talk about because it's the single largest personal purchase you'll ever make.
Correct.
Right.
Biggest investment.
But have we ever talked about first-time home sellers?
Bum, bum, bum.
No, we haven't. And so when Kim Crump, who is a selling specialist for Linda Craft Team Realtors here, she's an expert when it comes to selling homes. She brought this topic to me and I said, ooh, this is a good one. Because let's think about this for a second. You've purchased a home. And when you purchased a home, you wanted to purchase the home for the lowest possible price. Right? Now you're getting ready to sell your home, but you want to sell it for the highest possible price. We have a little bit of a conflict. Can you see the conflict? Are you with me in the conflict? A buyer comes in and wants the lowest price, but you as a new seller want the highest price.
That's right.
How does any real estate transactions actually happen when you have those two people? Well, that's where we have conflict. So you're a first-time home seller. You've never done this before, right? And you're going to have some conflict. What should you know? Well, that's why we bring Kim Crump back to help us go, okay, get the heart rate down. It's going to be okay. We're going to walk you through this. I've done this a lot of times. I've got a lot of stories to tell. So we're going to let her come back and help us out. Understand what we should know as a first-time home seller. Kim, welcome back.
Thank you. Thanks for having me.
Do you like the drama that I said?
Drama. I love it. I love it. It's like, oh my gosh. And that's what actually happens in my brain when I get that kind of call.
Yeah.
And it happened this past weekend. So I'll start with a story. I got to start with a story.
No, story.
I got to start with a story. And that's what triggered this topic for today. I get a call from past clients who had purchased a home in 2020. Actually, it wasn't a call. It was a text because they're younger.
Okay.
Hey, Kim. Oh, my God. We've actually accidentally fallen in love with a house.
Okay.
I'm like, okay, that's exciting. We want to buy it.
Okay.
And I'm thinking, okay, but you own a home right now.
Right.
There are so many steps to go through before you can purchase that home, or before things you need to know before you can actually purchase a home.
Right.
And number one, and this is similar to a first-time home buyer, you always have to look at your financing first.
Right.
And a lot of people think, no, we can afford another house immediately because we have so much equity in our house.
Right.
Thankfully, in our area, we've had a lot of appreciation.
Right.
So they had a couple $100,000 in equity in their house.
Okay, but hold on here.
Yeah.
Before you even get to that, though, right? I think sometimes what a new home seller doesn't understand is, well, I think I have equity, but they really probably should start with you first to go, well, let's make sure.
Well, you can have a lot of equity in your home, but
you may not know that, though, without starting with you first to go do like a kind of a home evaluation, right? I mean,
well, there's that, but prior to that, and jumping into trying to purchase another house, can you carry two mortgages?
Oh, okay. I see where you're going.
Does your income, your debt to income ratio support moving without selling first?
Gotcha.
Can you purchase first?
Gotcha.
And depending on what market you're in, and I'm local here, Raleigh, Cary area.
Right.
It's a very fast moving market at the moment. And it's really taken off for the beginning of the year.
And it's only going to get faster, by the way, with interest rates coming down.
Exactly. I was showing buyers a house, spoke with the listing agent. He had 72 showings.
Yeah.
Scheduled for that weekend.
Yeah.
So if you're not prepared and you thinking, yes, I can just go ahead and purchase this house. Hang on, let's take a step back.
Right.
So first things first, yes, talk with your realtor so they can get you a plan. You need a plan set up for you to go from one house to the next.
Right.
So financing, can you afford 2 mortgages?
So talk to a lender.
Talk to a lender. Exactly.
Okay.
And when you talk to the lender will either say, yes, you're good to go. I mean, nobody wants to carry 2 mortgages. And typically the plan is we get you into that house. As soon as you're in that house, we
Right.
pull the trigger and list the other one. So we don't have that inconvenience of 2 mortgages. Now, if you cannot afford 2 mortgages, and
Right.
most people can't.
Right.
They, that's just normal. How are you going to get from one house to the next?
Mm.
And if you've fallen in love with just one house, is that house still going to be available
Right.
when you've sold yours?
Mm.
Which then brings up contingencies,
Mm.
which is one of the first questions a first-time home seller. Well, can't we just write a contingency? Meaning, can't we say, hi, I want to purchase your house contingent
Right.
on the sale of my house?
Okay. This brings up a question. This just
So
in.
many. I
Yeah,
know.
yeah. It's just in my head. I mean,
Mhm.
it's like literally something just happened. And nobody's feeding me, by the way, my ear pods. It's just something came into my head. So I think understanding contingent offers can be difficult because I think what you're saying is, the new home seller, first time home seller is really excited about this new house.
Correct.
But not every seller, by the way, it's seller, buyer, seller, right? Because you are a seller, you have a house to sell, you're a buyer, which you've done before, but you haven't sold before. And now you're going to go to another seller with a house that you already have for sale, which is a contingency. But not everybody will accept a contingent in this market, will they?
Right. Well, the way to really look at it as a seller yourself is, would you accept an offer from a buyer who has a house to sell that is not under contract?
Yeah, good.
It's a major risk. Most people don't take them because you never know when that home is going to sell. Hey, it may sell right away.
Right.
Is it going to stay under contract, or is that contract going to fall apart?
Right.
There's so many different dimensions that go into a contingency, and it's such a big risk for a seller unless your house is already under contract and past the due diligence period.
Right.
Now that's a different contingency. If a buyer has a house, I know it's a lot.
It's just a lot because there's a lot of, you're not thinking about the different levels of contingency.
Exactly. So if you have, in our state, if you have gone through all of your inspections and you're good to go, you've negotiated repairs or don't need to, whatever. If you're past that stage and you're heading to closing, then there's a possibility they would accept a contingency. However, if there's multiple offers on the table, a seller is not going to accept a contingency. They're going to want somebody who is free and clear just to go through the process. There's so much that goes into it.
Because timing is an issue, right? Because you've got you as a first time home seller want to get this house right away. The seller on the other end wants to sell their house right away, but your house isn't sold yet. So, and I know Paul Fitz wrote in and says, well, 2 mortgages for a short period of time is kind of a Band-Aid. Ha ha ha. It is. And it's one that can peel off really quickly if we're not careful. But then this whole idea of going, I know the market's strong and I know things should sell. But there's so many things that can happen that can go wrong.
Absolutely.
In the home sale.
Yes, that's correct.
I mean, because the inspection report, for instance, on the buyer side, you had an inspection done.
Yes. And you say, seller, I want you to fix A, B, C, D, E, F, G, all of it.
And then now you're a seller.
And you're like, oh my goodness, you want me to fix a light bulb? Seriously?
Yeah, but I think what happens, Kim, and this is the psychology that I have thought about for years in this business, the psychology of forgetting what we were as buyers.
Oh yeah.
When we become a seller.
Yeah.
I mean, you have to see that all the time, right? Because you've worked on both sides with the same people for years. You've done this.
Correct.
And do you find that, that you had buyers who wanted everything on the inspection report done,
Mhm.
and then they became a seller and they just didn't want to have to do anything on the inspection.
Right. And sometimes it is very dependent on their previous experiences.
Mm,
So if they're selling their house and they have really easy buyers and the buyer's like, nah, it's okay. We don't really need everything
Right.
fixed. Give us a couple of thousand in lieu of repairs. They become easier when it comes to negotiations with their purchase.
Got it.
Now, if you have a buyer who comes in and is drilling them for repairs,
Yeah.
they're going to look back at me when they go and they're like, Kim, we had to fix everything in our house.
Right.
We want everything fixed on this one. So
Right,
there's
right.
an echo behavior that comes through.
Did you just say echo behavior?
Mhm.
Is that anywhere in the literature? Or did you just
No,
make
I
that
just made it up.
Okay, because we're going to make that. We're going to make that a psychological. I think we're going to make it a psychological term.
Okay,
Yeah. It's
okay.
echo behavior. I
It's echo
love that.
behavior.
That's fantastic.
So you've come from one instance, and then your expectations reflect, echo what your experience has been. So
that's awesome.
it is very, and of course, every transaction is completely different. Then no two transactions are the same. So then the other question you need to ask yourself as a seller, now that we've talked about inspections, is do you know the true condition of your house? Have you worn your house down? How long have you lived there? Now, typically, first-time home buyers stay in their house about 3 to 5 years. And depending on circumstances, now you want a new house.
Right.
Because this one is, it was good at the time. It's great, exciting, but now you're ready for something different.
Right.
And you've lived in the house, but do you know the condition of your house? Do you know how old your HVAC system is? All of your systems, do you know if you have any problems in your crawl space? And in our area, we do see most of the problems come from the crawl space.
Right. Yeah.
Have you had kids, and have your kids literally beaten the mess out of your house?
Yeah, right. Yeah.
Do you have dings in your wall, stickers? Do you have the LEDs going around the bedroom? I mean, there are so many factors that you may not think about from just living in the house.
Yeah, I think what happens is, this, you have kids. And they're mostly grown now, but you have kids. You just know that if you have kids are going to be kids.
100%.
And things change gradually over time without us seeing it or noticing it.
Well, you live in that space 24/7, right?
Right.
So you can walk past the fingerprints, you can walk past the chip in the wall, you can walk past, or just you live with things that you're just used to living with.
Right.
We don't live the way we sell a house.
Yeah, and then the other thing is, you buy the house, you move into the house, and then you don't think about sometimes regular house maintenance.
Exactly.
I mean, we don't. I mean, I remember having big heating and air and plumbing here, right? And them telling me that some people just don't even pay attention to their heating and air units.
They don't change their filters.
They don't even change their filters. They just don't even think about it, right? Or if you have a crawl space, the barrier may be
the vapor barrier down. And another one people really don't take note to. The biggest thing for me really is, and it affects crawl spaces too, is water. Water is the biggest enemy of your house, right? So if you don't have gutter guards, and your gutters have been clogged, and you've never had them cleaned, well, that's going to cause wood rot on the fascia boards of your house.
Right.
So how much wood rot do you have on your house and on your trim? Because that's another big issue as well.
Right.
People don't like doing the non-sexy stuff. People don't want to fix that. However, if you become the buyer and you saw that on your next house, what are your expectations that you're going to? Because buyers are going to expect the same thing from your current house. But you don't think about all these things when you've never sold a house before.
Well, and then here's the other thing. In your situation that you're talking about, and I think it's true of most sellers, but first-time sellers, they're excited about the next house.
Yes.
They're not really thinking about the house they're leaving. Matter of fact, they just want to get out of it.
They want to burn it and get out of there.
So they can get to the next one.
Right.
And so they're not thinking about, gosh, I got all this work I got to do.
Right.
And I don't know the condition of my house really.
Mm-hmm.
And it's so interesting because yesterday something happened. We redid our house that we're in, right? A
Right.
couple of years ago.
Mm-hmm.
And Robert Peterson, who works at Linda Craft Team, who does so much handiwork and things
So
for house.
good.
He's so
He
good,
really
right?
is.
He's
Yeah.
really great at what he does. So he was over at the house and he calls me on the phone and says, "Where's the whole house water shut off? They're going to shut it off from the street."
And you were like,
do you realize that it should be, I know it's something I should know, right?
Yeah.
And
yeah, you
I
should.
I should know.
Yeah.
And I'm like going through my head going, it's not in the closets. It's not, and then I went, oh, it's up in the walk-in attic.
Right.
And he goes, really? I go, yeah. I said, I think I remember it's up in the walk-in attic.
Mm-hmm.
And sure enough, he went up there. But you know what?
It took you a moment to think about it.
But think about, I am someone who, is in the house,
Mm-hmm.
does, pay attention, works on
Mm-hmm.
things.
Mm-hmm.
I mean, I couldn't even remember right away where the house shut off valve is. So for most homeowners,
mm-hmm.
they don't even know. You don't even know what's happening.
Mm-mm. They don't. And
you're so excited about moving in. You're not paying attention to the other stuff.
Exactly. So I've lived in my house. I've been here.
Yeah.
I go into a house. The realtor walks into a house and I immediately see, okay, this is what we're going to do. No judgment because trust me, my house. Whoa. I've been living there since 2003.
Right.
So I walk into all different circumstances.
Right.
And a lot of the times, hey, sellers, just don't do anything to your house until you have an agent come in. Because you may spend money where you don't need to spend money.
Yeah, exactly.
And an agent, professional, is going to come in there and tell you what's more important and what will get you a return, what won't get you a return. What do you need to do, even though it's not going to get you a return? I'm sorry, just because of maintenance issues, right?
Yeah.
So when I go into a home, and you got to think of this, sellers, a buyer, and you will do the same thing when you go into new homes. A buyer gets an impression in 3 seconds. 3 seconds. That's all it takes for them to say, "Oh, I like this."
Well,
or
is it that long?
That long?
I mean, because okay, so humanly with each other, right?
Mm-hmm.
We make a judgment about people in like 1/3 of a second.
Okay.
Is what we do psychologically.
Okay.
And so the reason I'm saying that is like going, do people really take that long? 30 seconds to make a difference?
Okay.
Or maybe faster.
It depends if there's an odor.
Yeah.
If there's an odor in the house, it may take long.
Right. I mean, it's immediate, right? I mean, as soon as you smell something, it's immediate.
Mm-hmm.
I guess maybe oftentimes when we go into a house and we see something that maybe we go, but 3 seconds to me seems like an eternity.
Well, you have your good smells, you have your bad smells.
Oh, I see.
Do you have your good smells, which is new paint, fresh carpet?
Right.
It's being professionally cleaned.
Right.
Or do you walk in and you smell, and we've talked about this before, the big ones like the cat odors, pet odors, smoke,
cigarette smoke.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, exactly. So what kind of odors are in that house?
And you don't smell them. Here's the thing about a homeowner. So a homeowner, a homeowner, can you go to, if they have cats, let's just say cats. Mm-hmm. Okay. A homeowner doesn't smell their cats. Mm-mm. But somebody who doesn't have cats smells cats.
Immediately.
And if you are like me, who has a cat allergy, my eyes water immediately.
Right.
And so I get that cat dander, right? Mm-hmm. Even though you've done a great job cleaning up your house, I can still get weepy, watery eyes, and my nose starts clogging up because they just have a cat allergy.
Well, it's the same with mold, right? People who are highly allergic to mold. And I experienced this, gosh, it was a long time ago. I think it was maybe 2015 or 16. I was showing a property and one of the children had was very allergic to mold. The house was clean. It was in great condition.
Right.
Oh my gosh, we opened the crawl space door. Ugh, There was almost fungus hanging
Yeah.
off those rafters, and we were out of there. They
So
didn't
knowing,
know. They didn't know.
yes, knowing the condition of the
Mhm.
home. We're down to our last couple of minutes here.
Oh my goodness.
So,
Let me check my notes.
so we here's a few things, right? Know the condition of your home.
Yep.
Contingencies. Can we do 2 mortgages? Paul Fitz keeps saying it's a
Mhm.
Band-Aid. That we're probably gonna have to rip off. Is there something else that, as a first-time home seller, that we should probably be thinking about here?
If you have more questions, just give me a call.
Yeah.
Or drop me a message, because everybody has a very different specific
Right. I think
situation that they're trying to achieve. And you can't work with one person the same you work with another one. You have to come up with a strategy. You have to come up with a process.
Yeah, I think the big thing that you really brought to the table here is managing your expectations.
Mhm. Correct.
Because I think what happens so often is, as a buyer,
Mhm.
you have a set of expectations.
Right.
But then as a seller, you're gonna have a set of expectations.
Yes.
And the ability to manage those expectations
Exactly.
is so.
And don't be offended by the inspection report.
Yeah.
It's an inspection report. It's not a reflection on you. It's your house.
Right.
So that's another.
Yeah, and again, isn't it so true? If you're on the buyer side, you get this list of things from an inspector. You go, oh my gosh, this house is awful, but yet you bought the house,
Mhm.
right?
You did, and you probably saw some of the same things on your
right,
report.
because you love the house, and
Uh-huh.
then you're going to get an inspection report, and you're going to go, they expect me to just how'd this house fall apart this fast in 4.5 years, right? I mean, it's what, right?
That is so true.
But it is, so you kind of have to manage your expectations. You got to manage your emotions.
100%.
And
that's it. That can be hard.
Right. And then call a professional.
Correct.
Get professionals on your team.
Yes.
Call you.
Yes. Don't do anything before.
Yeah. Call a mortgage lender.
Mhm.
Right.
Yeah.
Paul Fitz is a mortgage lender. You call him. Doug Schoonemaker is a mortgage lender. You call him. Chris Coy's a mortgage lender. You call him. Mike
Got
Martin's
some all of ours are fantastic partners.
So
really great.
yeah.
They will guide you. They've had years and years of experience, and there may be some solutions to get you from one house to the next.
Yeah.
But as far as real estate goes, that's different than your financing. So 2 parallel paths. You need to work with a lender and a realtor, and then we all work together to get you to your next goal.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
You were awesome. It's great topic. Tell people how to get a hold of you.
Thank you.
Okay.
Hi, it's Kim Crump. You can find me, kim@lindacraft.com. You can also find me on all my socials, Instagram, Facebook, LinkedIn. I use the hashtag Close with Kim.
Mm-hmm.
And of course, any messages. I welcome any questions.
Awesome.
And I do free consultations.
Awesome. Perfect. Thanks for doing the show. Hey, everybody, listen, you that watch the show, as I say to you everywhere, thank you. You have a lot of choices. You chose us. Thank you for watching us on DBTV. We got some exciting news, by the way, of where this show is going to be broadcasted coming up later here in probably by the end of January. Really exciting news that you're going to be able to watch us. And we're already available Saturday mornings on DBTV, but you can also be able to watch us all other places. Give us a positive thumbs up on YouTube, wherever you were watching the show. Type in a little positive review. We appreciate that. As I say to you all over the world, you know what that is. Ciao, everybody. Bye.
Bye.